Hey out there in action figure land. Today's review will be on the Amazon exclusive Arctic Mission Storm Shadow from the G.I. Joe Classified Series number 14. I just recently picked this figure up at a great price on eBay. I did not initially purchase it for various reasons. At some point I decided to just go ahead and get all the figures up to number 34, which is currently the Alley Viper. So I still have not completed that particular mission. I do not have 00 Storm Snake Eyes, the initial launch figure. I don't have that figure yet. It's not out yet. I mean, rather, it's out, but I don't have it. I did not get it when it came out. This figure is an update of the 1991 version 3 Storm Shadow leader of Ninja Force, which you know, kind of divides the fans. It's not necessarily the most favorite version of Storm Shadow. Usually the runners in contention are the 1984 initial version Cobra Ninja and the 1988 Ninja with the L-shaped camo. But this one, you know, somebody's got to start. Everybody starts doing G.I. Joe at some point, and I'm sure he has his particular followers. But I'm very happy with the figure. After all, finally getting one. So mine does have slightly damaged box, which is why I was able to obtain it for such an amazing price. But I'm gonna go over this one like I do all the G.I. Joe Classified series. So you have your front packaging with the custom artwork down in the lower right corner, as well as the side, on the right side of the box, same custom artwork. Flip it over to the back, of course, there is the movie style poster that was slowly expanded over time. The figures 35 and on, I believe, have a new movie style poster, which is cool. They couldn't really fit anything else on this one anyway, so this was a great picture. Looks like a kind of a new movie style kind of thing, but we're getting a new one. And then of course on the side we have the new abridged file card with the annotated characteristics. So Storm Shadow has all these are ranked on a scale of 1 to 4, and Storm Shadow's coming in with Covert Ops 4, Bladed Weapons 3, Infiltration 3, and Ninjutsu 4. So he is highly skilled, according to the G.I. Joe website. Even though 1 is considered an elite level of training, so you're talking about guys that are better than the best, right? And Storm Shadow is one of the best there is at basically his main signature skills. I do link below to the G.I. Joe characters page on GIJoe.com, so you want to get more information on these characteristics and those for the other characters. That's where you go, GIJoe.com. Here we have Storm Shadow freed from the packaging with his complete weapons load out. He comes with an arrow, ninja toe with the Articulation symbol on it, a sheath for that sword, a grappling hook, and a Kusari Gama, which definitely is a throwback to the Ninja Force version. His backpack is adorned with gold arrows with the Arashikaji symbol on it, as well as the bow, and he has an Arashikaji symbol on his uniform. And I guess I want to point out that even though this figure is definitely marketed as a Cobra figure, he's got a Cobra logo on the top of the box as well as the the background. There's nothing on this figure that states that he's a Cobra. There's no Cobra symbol or logo anywhere on him. So in my little head canon, this is a G.I. Joe Ninja Force Storm Shadow. That's how I'm gonna kind of use them. When the new Storm Shadow comes out, obviously he's a Cobra. He'll be with the Cobras. One thing I noticed immediately is my copy, which had never been taken out. By the way, all the tape and everything was still in the packaging. He has a very loose ab crunch, which brings me to his articulation, standard G.I. Joe classified articulation. Arm swivel, bicep swivel, elbows, wrists, ab crunch. Even though he does have a click, although mine definitely swings. Waist swivel and knee and ankle tilts. So he's got all the normal G.I. Joe classified articulation. For what I can tell, he does not share any parts with any other G.I. Joe classified figure, but he does share an accessory, his little belt here. You can find it on the Snake Eyes movie, kind of deluxe non-classified figures. There's a Storm Shadow, and he does have the same belt. So even though he's not sharing anything with G.I. Joe Classified, he is sharing this with the 6-inch Storm Shadow, although they are slightly out of scale. They're not really in scale with each other. But the belt is definitely worn by that figure. So I'm not sure what you're supposed to do with the arrow. I guess you can pose it and everything like that, to where he can be holding the bow and the arrow. I'm not going to really try that for this video, but you can plug the sword into the backpack and then plug the backpack into his back so that he can be able to carry both. It does seem to, have to, position his ankles so that he can hold it and stand up, because otherwise the backpack will definitely cause him to fall. There doesn't seem to be anywhere to store the bow. Or the arrow, or the Kusarigama, or the grappling hook. Not that, I feel like they have to have everything stored, but, it helps. It doesn't hurt. So, on one hand, I have him with his trusty Kusarigama. That's kind of embarrassing. Whatever. In one hand, we'll have him with his bow. Here's Storm Shadow with most of his accessories after some finagling. to get them in his hands. His hands seem to be a little tighter than normal, a little, maybe, I don't know, this is an early figure, of course, so the plastic was definitely very stiff. But, you know, after a little bit of finagling, there he is in his slight action pose. So where I got it figured, you know, Storm Shadow, Arctic Mission, definitely a worthy addition to the collection. If you're a completist, obviously you need to have him anyway. And he's one of the most iconic figures. It was surprising that they just released him as an Amazon exclusive. No other stores got him or anything like that. And at the time, I was waiting for another Storm Shadow for one more akin to the video game version, or the or the one that they're doing now, which is essentially a straight redo of the 1984 version. So there he is, Storm Shadow, Arctic Mission, G.I. Joe Classified number 14. So the way I got it figured, if you're into G.I. Joe, get them. If you want to wait for the more classic interpretation, you're more than welcome to do that too. Way I got it figured, G.I. Joe Classified Arctic Mission Storm Shadow, number 14 in the wave in the series, is a more than worthy figure. He's, you know, definitely as posable as any other G.I. Joe Classified figure, and he turned out to be better than I expected. He's not my favorite version of Storm Shadow, but he is Storm Shadow. And he's one of the top, probably top 10 characters in G.I. Joe, so I felt like I had to have him. So yeah, so guys, see you on the next one, and if you like the content, please, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I will see you on the next one.